What's up, guys? Welcome back for another EVE Online Fit video. We're going to be going over the Thanatos, the regular Galante carrier. This has been my go-to for quite a while. It's makes a great suitcase, and it's a little bit more reasonable to be ratting in this than say Super. Um, I'll be showing you the Dragonfly II kind of performance here, but I would recommend it if you want to do Havens or Sanctums with this, then I go with the Dragonfly 1s, because if you lose a Dragonfly 1, it's a lot less substantial on your wallet than if you lose like a Dragonfly 2. A lot of the strategy there is to keep your fighters moving, get used to having them orbit pre-target, and just having them always on the move. Never let them just stand still where they'll take a lot of damage. But I'll go ahead and go over my fit here, and I'll also put it in the description so you can see it. But for rigs, I am using capital Trimark Armor Pump 2s. I'm using a network, sensor array, and then everything else is fighter support unit 2s. In the mid slots, I'm using a sensor booster 2 with a ECCM script. I'm running 2 omnidirectional tracking link 2s with optimal range and tracking scripts, and then a capital cap battery 2, and then a cap recharger 2. For my lows, I'm using just standard drone damage amplifier 2s, 2 of them. I'm using a capital armor repair 2, a kinetic armor hardener 2. You can change this out for depending on what type of damage you'll be facing. I'm running kinetic just because of the things we'll be going against. And then a 25,000 mm steel plate 2, and then a regular damage control 2. And as you can see, the fighter bay is loaded with just Dragonfly 2s. Each squadron tube is also loaded with those, and that's what I'll be kind of showcasing here. I'm just going to do a little bit of a Haven so you can kind of see, and I can kind of give you some ideas on how to control the fighter squads with this, and just kind of show you how it kind of looks. Most of the time, I'm going to throw a squadron on anything that's below a battleship, and then I'll usually group them up whenever it's a battleship, for instance. But I will say this, that, carrier ratting is possible. Is it the most efficient you can do? No, I would recommend like a Marauder or any like Tech 2 battleship would most likely do it a lot better than a carrier. Also, your torps, your cruise missiles, they're going to be a lot better conversion rate when it comes to the cost of ammo to the actual bounty amount than losing like a fighter to you can almost cancel out your entire earnings on a Haven or Sanctum. So once we land on grid, another thing too I'll let you know is if you have to warp off, your fighters will follow you. This Haven looks like it's already been kind of started here, which is fine. And you gotta be kind of careful with some of these. This variant of Haven's not that bad. If you have the long spiral rock, you can get caught in the middle of it. What I normally do with this is on normal Havens like this, it takes a little bit of time for the first spawn to kind of show up. But I'm gonna go and throw Hardener on, network sensor array, sensor booster, and I'm gonna go and actually target everything up before I actually launch all of the fighters. Once I launch fighters, they're gonna be automatically selected. I'm gonna go and have them, we'll hold down W and click the target. I'm gonna have them go ahead and move, and I'm gonna hit F2 to turn on their micro warp drive and get them just orbiting. And since their battleship is all to the left, I'm gonna go and hit F1, which is going to send their blasters into effect there, as you can see. We can also go ahead and select this other target and hit F3. This will actually throw heavy rockets. They'll go over here and like fire these heavy rockets there. And then once they've done that, they'll go back to their original target. Kind of helps you do two things at once. And then once that target dies, we want them to immediately orbit the next target. And then we're going to have them engage the one that we threw heavy missiles on. And we're going to go hit 2 or F1 for that, so they can actually get back into it. I'm not worried about my shield because this is an armor tank carrier, which is why we're running like armor repairs, and we have Trimark armor pumps on. So the one thing you need to know, just the best advice I can give you, is keep these fighters moving. That'll help you not lose them as much. I'm gonna go and hit F2 to get their micro warp drives started. That way we can get to that target a little bit faster. Once they're in range, we'll hit F1 and kind of go that route. If you ever have to reload their rockets or anything like that, then you have to bring them back into the fighter bay, and that takes time. That's why I usually save these for battleships or some of the later the later stages. So looks like somebody already kind of ran most of this, but I think I gave you a pretty good idea about what's going on there. I hope that gives you a pretty decent idea, and then we'll just get them all to return, which you can do Shift R like with drones, or you can hit this recall all fighters, and even when they're moving like this, you can still actually warp out and everything like that. But yeah, and it also another thing I'll note too is like normally we'll do this. Normally, if you're in your own ship, when you use like Q movement like this, you're going to be controlling your own ship. But for carriers, that's actually going to be controlling them. If you wanted to control your ship like that, you have to double click on your capacitor, which highlights your carrier, and it'll let you move. And then you can also select individual squads using control. You can control click anyone you want, or you can click on the first one, shift click to the last one. The basic shift control click kind of architecture that you're used to. So we'll go and return these guys. Not too complicated. But like I said, you can rat in these. It's fine, but not efficient. It's fun to do. This ship makes a great suitcase, and we'll kind of just show you some other stuff too. Like you have a maintenance bay, which has 1,000,000 cubic meters in it. The docking restrictions on the ship are a lot more lenient than a supercarrier. Like you still have to be able to dock this in a port. This will not fit into a Tatara, so you're looking at like forts and stuff like that. But keep that in mind. Got a fleet hangar on here as well, and then also it holds like 100,000 oxygen isotopes, and that's the type it's going to use for jumping. It has like I think a 7 light year jump range. Let's just want to just double check that. Yeah, 7 light year jump range. So not the best, but also it's pretty heavy on the jump fatigue as well. So keep that in mind. This button down here, another thing I'll show you, you can like detach this fighter control button, but if you click it, it'll actually mount down here. If you don't necessarily, if you're running passive down here, then you can legit just hide this down here. But you can also just switch between them with this button here. So like when I get into armor, I'll turn on the armor hardener and probably the repair. But when I first get to grid, I'm turning on sensor booster and tracking computers, and then I'll either switch to this. But most of the time, I'm just leaving it kind of undocked like that and over, so I can see everything in one spot. That's just how I do it. I like being able to see all the things as they are available. But yeah, I'll leave the fit for this for my fit for the Thani in the description. Let me know in the comments if you end up trying this out. If you use it as a suitcase to move around stuff in null. Yeah, I mean, I've had one of these for a very long time. And I'm just more recently, as I'm getting into more like solo stuff, I'm kind of getting rid of a lot of my big ships. Thank you for watching, and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.